Yo, what's going on, y'all? Scott LaRock Jr. It's another episode of Blunt Conversations. Got a special guest today, my guy D Chamberz. Chamberz, what's the word, man?
Everything's a blessing. What's the good? What's good, Scott? We both busy people, man. We tried this.
Yeah, man, long overdue. We've been trying to get this done for a little minute now, man. I appreciate you taking the time and sticking with me, though. Definitely a lot going on right now.
Well, real support the real 24/7. That's what
Appreciate you, King. So, one of the first things I wanted to get into with you was, and I like to do this with, and I'm gonna call you a veteran respectfully. It ain't because you old, it's because you've been around.
Right.
But
don't matter. I tell people live to see it.
You know? I like it. Right. I like to always address like where you feel the state of New York hip hop is at right now, opposed to where it was when you started in the game. You know what I mean? Like I know it's a lot of differences. I just wanted you to point out what you see from your perspective.
I see a lot of marketing strategies going wild. I see everything's going to virtual reality. You have to do more than one thing. It's definitely that you have to do more than one thing now. And you got to make sure everything you do is worth money in the long run, or it's going to have some type of value or something sentimental. It's like one or the other. So when people do drill music or they do boom bap, there's a message in the bottle in both sounds. It's just how you selling it. Because you got broke drill rappers and you got popping drill rappers, and you got broke niggas with bars and you got rich niggas with bars. So it's like as long as you do things that make sense, that's how you know where you fit in this culture. Because you got people who have niche followings and you only have fans who stick around for as long as you trend it. It's however you want to carry this industry.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. So from a sound standpoint, sonically, I know you, and your sound's always been your sound. I never seen you try to cross over,
not too much.
Do the other shit. You pretty much still within yourself. So why not try to venture out and get on some of those records with the newer, younger sounding cats? You know what I mean? And things like that.
Maybe like, people are not familiar, but I got records with Fabio Foreign. I have records with a lot of the young homies that are relevant. It's like even the record that I played on Drewski played it, that was produced by Cover, called Jetson. G5 Flying, that was a UK beat. I just think a lot of people get on those tracks and they lose their identity. I get on tracks and it still sound like me. So you don't think it was a different sound. It's the same sound, but it's just me on the track. Now, I never hesitated it, but I like to stay in my lane because I know it works for me. Because some people go so far in that they have to come back to the drawing board, and then first thing they start talking about, oh, I'm back. You ain't go no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just try something different, and maybe it worked, maybe it didn't.
Maybe it didn't. Facts. So I know you got the new record out with Benny.
Right,
Benny, one of the hottest cats out right now. Like, talk about that relationship, how it was forged, and how that record came about.
Well, I would have to give credit first and foremost to Carlos from Classic Material. He had the hip hop store, and one year I walked in there. I think it was like the end of 2016, beginning of 2017. I walked in there, and ironically, I had the record with Manolo Rose at the time. All of my niggas, and he was like, "Yo, Chamberz, these niggas is exactly like you. They from Buffalo. You need to get with these niggas. Fuck these New York City niggas." He ain't mean it like that. Boom. Yeah. Like, fuck these niggas. They don't want to show love. Fuck with these niggas up top. They rapping just like you. They're not losing their sound. And when next time they come down here, I'm gonna plug y'all. And I think he was talking about Conway at the time, but it just so happened when they came down, SOBs, me and Benny the Butcher clicked. Like, I hit him in the DM, but like, yo, Carlos told me I was gonna be in town. What's up? My name D Chamberz. They knew he was familiar with what I was doing through the Smack thing, because he knew I was from the Smack. And then he was just like, yo, just pull up, meet me over there. I did exactly that. I pulled up the SOBs, and we kept that relationship for over like 2-3 years. And whenever they came down, I stayed in tune with them. pull up to the shows. They pull me out places. Always show genuine love. And then the last time they came out here, they was like, "Yo, Chamberz, what's up? You got a studio? We can make it happen." So we did what we had to do. I hollered at Umbrella, Cover at Umbrella Studios. Told him I had Benny the Butcher. Once this concert was over, we needed the studio. He was like, "Yo, pull up here," and he did it. And just so I couldn't really executed it in 220 because I had that record since like January, February 220. When the pandemic hit in March, it just set everything back. So
yeah, everything kind of just died for a minute. Like it
yeah,
was like a 4 or 5 month period where everything just died,
so,
bro.
I was saying, everything happens at the right time, right place. But I can only imagine in 220 at the beginning without the pandemic, what would it have been like if I with the meth back to back with the Benny. If none of this would have went on, I'm pretty sure a lot would have changed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now that sprinkles right into my next question. With this pandemic being what it is and everything like that, like how has that affected you from a music career standpoint? Like,
I ain't gonna lie to you. I hate to sound narcissistic or whatever they say like that. I don't want to sound like I don't have no passion about it. We lost a lot of people due to this pandemic, but at the same time, it helped a lot of people. And musically and attention-wise, I feel like it helped me because it gave time for people to sit down, watch, and it really wasn't too much to do. If you're not an innovator, you're not a thinker, you're just watching. And I'm both of those. So I created things for people to watch, things for people to stay attuned to, the site, creating challenges, creating mixtapes, and really tapping into artists and letting them use my platform with the blue check to showcase, because I had no problem sharing they cipher or they freestyle. They had a project, I put it in the store. There was no gimmicks. There wasn't no tagging artists with me. It was just, I respect what you're doing. You shout me out. You hit my page up. I sent it back genuinely. And people in the pandemic took time out and was like, "Yo, you know what? I fuck with Chamberz. He actually showed me love. He been doing this for a while." Because outside of rap, I was throwing concerts, video show. I do fashion. I help people. I consult behind the scenes. Some of these artists that are popping now, they will never probably admit it on camera, but I created the stage and platform for these dudes to shine. You know what I mean? And people knowing that kept them more in tune with me. So that's why it was very easy for the numbers to boost like how it is now. Like people were just like, "Oh shit." And now it's shocking people like, "Yo, he's doing this with no budget, no deal, no label, and it's just nonstop, just continuous growing." I'm really living off music. It's no 9 to 5. I haven't had a 9 to 5 since 2013. Like I've been doing this off this since then.
Respect. So the Method Man record, that's what I wanted to spin into next. What was that like, man? Because Method Man is like, he in my top 20. You know what I mean? As one of those guys. So, like, to work with somebody like that, like, what was that like?
I'm still blown away, to be honest with you. And sometimes, even with Benny, even with Meth, it's like it's not the same, but it's like, oh shit, I can't believe I did it in this climate and and how this world is spinning right now. Now, like with Meth, I met him through Math Hoffa, and that's Double Barrel video a while back, and then like 2 other video shoots I saw him at. I didn't see him at Cortez video shoot, but I saw him at China Mac video shoot. And first thing he was like, "Chamberz, you know what's up? When we gonna get one?" I went to the lab that night. I went to Loud Studios. I went to Ali. Told him I got something with Meth. And he's like, "Yo, I don't want to give him nothing whack. I know he gonna want bars. We're not gonna try nothing new. We ain't gonna try to be too creative. We're gonna give him what he does." And I stuck to the script with that. And I gave it to him that night. I swear to God, the next day he gave me a voice note, and then I had the verse. But the world was just had shut down, so we had to wait. So all I kept doing was just kept promoting it. And then eventually we got the video shot. We was like, "Yo, I wasn't gonna let the year pass I saw he was on Power, and I was like, yo, I'm ready when you are. I just happened to shoot a text, and he was like, yo, long as he was following COVID restrictions because he didn't want to miss his opportunity on Power.
Right, absolutely.
So, we had to clear out certain sections. Everybody had to have their masks on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, at that, everybody act like they don't care now, but during that video, he walked in the barbershop with that, yo, I'm not losing my power position for this shit. I would appreciate if everybody put their mask on. Everybody looked at each other and put it on.
Put their mask on, like, yeah.
OG said something, he didn't go in nobody's pocket. He ain't asked for no money.
It ain't no disrespect. He telling y'all niggas don't fuck up his bread.
And I can't knock that. So
yeah, right.
we did that. And plus the beauty of it is that I personally feel like I bridged the gap between Brooklyn and Staten Island when it comes to me and Meth, because he shouted out Coney Island and everybody's like, oh, he shouted out because Coney Island, we don't get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really get nothing. You see a lot of NBA players, but you don't see artists. You see me.
I can agree with that.
You see me, you see Nims, you see Torre, and then you have the next generation after with the next generation after. But me, Nims, and Torre is the forefathers of the music. You know what I mean? Like, because I tell people all the time, people don't even know Buckshot is from Coney Island. They think he's from Ebbets Field. They think he's from Flatbush. He's from Coney Island. And that's just what it is, because Coney Island is so much of a place. Like, some people be trying to get away from it so much they forget to tell people where they from. You know? It's like that.
Oh, that's like fact. I definitely know what that's like. So after the Method joint, after the Benny joint, those two huge records, like, where do you go next?
Back to the studio. Now, you know what I'm saying?
Back to the studio. I respect it.
But I actually got a few more artists on my target board that I would like to work with. I do have Warrior Mentality Music Group, so I'm also looking for producers to just genuinely lock in. I know I work with a lot of dope producers, but I'm looking for producers that they know that Warrior Mentality sound that's coming from my company WMMG, and I would like to also pass the torch to other artists too, or give them that platform while I'm still rising. So you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to just stop with just the music, because then I'll be shortchanging myself, because I do a lot, and I just want to continue making money off what I love to do. And how you continue to make money, recreating yourself, be a part of something different. That's why I'm in 3 web series. Like, I'm acting my ass off out here. Eventually, I will lead into the film world. People that know me know I wrote a battle rap movie with Smack. This pandemic slowed that down. You know what I mean? I'm good friends with Deon Taylor. I'm talking to Originate, who had American Skin movie. Deon Taylor had Black and Blue. And he had Fatal. These are like film directors. Like, so I know where I'm headed. So the music is another platform for me to showcase my talent and give somebody else a light that wasn't given to me. But I'm just having fun along the way, because long as dope DJs like Drewski, Self, K Slay, and these guys take risks with new artists, we always gonna have a shot at another day, because everybody's idol worshipers. They wait for you to get on radio and all the websites to pay some type of attention.
Yeah.
And so I noticed, like, a lot of times people was familiar with me, but I wasn't on radio. I wasn't on major websites. So once I started transcending with the tunes and challenging my energy to head that direction, that's when they be like, oh shit, Chamberz, yo, he been around. Like, people have to go back and do bibliography work to understand I've been around.
Yeah, how far back you actually go though.
Right. So, I salute it, but like, I also tell people why people didn't know, because I took a lot of years supporting other artists and just standing behind them in the battle rap culture. Because when you're in the battle rap culture, if you're not battle rapping, you're just standing behind somebody. So
right.
at some point, you gotta stand out. So I think somewhere between 014 and 015 is when I decided to say, you know what, I'm gonna start digging that shovel for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start digging these, creating these plants and shit for me. Not saying I'm shitting on the people next to me, but people need to know who's D Chamberz. He's from Coney Island. what I can bring from the table. Some people thought it was a selfish move, but I also could think back and be like, yo, damn, what it would have been like if I would have just stayed the same. You know
Still
what I mean?
probably would have been standing behind a nigga. But the irony of this shit is, niggas like you better there.
But,
You
yo,
know what I'm saying? That's the crazy shit. Like, niggas will love you when you stand behind him and you got less than him. When you put yourself in a position where you could bring something back to everybody, niggas hate you for that. This shit is so weird, bro.
it's different. I'll tell you like this. Like, everybody that know me know, I always was the hustler. I was a hustler before I was a rapper. I always had a car. I always had a place to live. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when you have these things, a lot of times people get in the game to get these things. So
Yep.
either you're an investor or you're a supporter. The minute you step outside of that, a lot of artists tend to be like, oh, this nigga want to rap. Oh, he want to do. You see what he did? Some people like, nah, this shit was actually all right. I'm not mad at it. You know, some people be like that. Some people shied away from me. So that's why eventually I started having new friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my it's a cut and dry world between the underground world and those trying to make it the mainstream.
Yep.
And so I was tied in with a lot of people that was in the underworld, like freestyling on the spot, like stuff like. There's a lot of names that's out there that's putting in so much work. You would never hear them. Why? Because they're not chasing the light. Sometimes people don't recognize you until you're in that light. You know, they probably paying attention now because they see Method Man did the verse and they're like, oh shit, Meth did it. And then they turn back around like, I went from somebody that was hot in the 90s to somebody that's hot now, and they both respect my work. Like, where's the gap at? It ain't no gap. I'm right there with both of them. So it's just like, people respect it, but they also want to see where you're going to slow down at. And I think that's where I'm hitting them, because I don't slow down. And I'm making business decisions, and I'm not just relying on rap. So that's where a lot of people get confused at, because some people, they chase music so much to where it controls how they deal with other people. They become emotional. They don't want to support. They don't want to buy shit. Next thing you know, you're a fake nigga. Like, they start to hate you. You don't even know where it's coming from. So it's weird like that. But you got to know your energy when you first meet them. You should be able to, you know,
identify that kind of energy right there off the rip.
Oh, there you go.
Definitely. That should make a lot of sense. So now, like, I gotta ask, you got some records with some legends. What about on the production side? Like, what legends haven't you worked with that you would be like, that you looking to work with?
Well, I think what people don't even know is that I have records with Lil Fame from MOP. And he was like the first legend to me that took a crap shot with me. And was like, and it's just that he was too busy going on tour and be missing for like a year. Like, you know, cool to get that cosign from MOP in Brooklyn, but then, like, if they not there, it's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just an artist who got an MOP stamp, and nobody, you know, Fame is, you know, coaching me through the studio stuff, because I learned a lot from him in the studio. You know what I'm saying? On how, you know, the beats and what, you know, snares and what hit and what keeps people moving. I learned a lot of that from Lil Fame. I'm not even gonna say a lot. And I learned that from him when I brought him to Zayak Studio, and we was locking in. But the thing was, you know, like I said, it was always on tour, and it was kind of hard to, you know, put a contract in a guy like my hand when I want to be a boss myself. Like, I already had this mindset for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, a lot of legends stay to themselves. They like what they like, and until they like what you're doing, then you see them.
Yep.
So I had the luck of legends actually respecting what I do. Even like Buckshot, I respected him, but another guy, he stays on the go. Every time you turn around, he's in another country. You know, same thing with like, even when Rucker, God rest the dead, Sean Price, I'm talking about Rock. You know, I was a fan of him. Like, you know, a lot of people may think, you know, when I see him, I still think of Timberland boots from that era. You know what I'm saying? So I pay homage to him. But I also realize a lot of legends are stuck in their ways, and they don't they don't want to conform. They don't want to do nothing. And this is why they fade out. And why I say rapping with a legend is a whole nother cat. If you can get one of these guys to salute what you're doing something great. And that's why I tell people to acknowledge him. And I also told him rapping with a legend is not just rapping. You can just talk to them, work with, just have a daily conversation. Let him know he's a legend. Let him know maybe you might inspire him to do more. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm out here pushing the legends too. Like a lot of people that they slept on, I'm pushing them. And the same people who think the bars is done, I'm showing you. Look what I'm doing. Look what Benny the Butcher's doing. Look what Graf is doing. Look what I can name dudes that's
There's definitely a lot of people out here that would say the bars are done. I will say that.
Yeah, they'll say it's done just because they're trying to get in with the young homies, and that's not a bad thing. I'm in tune with the young homies. I do music. I probably won't do the chorus. I'll let him do the chorus. It's art to it. But once again, like a lot of older dudes just like to take control of shit. So like the way technology is, there's no way you can control somebody with technology the way it is right now. These kids listen the way.
Give too much freedom to everybody right now. Everybody got too much freedom right now.
Right. Everybody got too much freedom. So when you think of stuff like that, you're like, okay, you got to stick to those who are genuinely you. If you like their music, reach out to the people, because these kids, they not too hard up on working. They love to work. They
like going in the studio. All my young boys like going in the studio.
Yeah.
They love that shit.
Especially if you got some buzz and you got something. Yeah. But if you shitted on them in the past, they don't forget that.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that nigga. He not hot. And they'll tell you who they fuck with. You know what I'm saying? It so happen. I have the luck of the draw that these kids fuck with me because I showed them love in the beginning, and I showed them love now. I put them on stages, or I helped them get to radio. So either way, they're looking at me as a gatekeeper in this thing. That's why I created an empire and a whole, with the fashion, the music, the radio show, and everything.
So, like, in terms of projects, you got anything coming up for the rest of the year, or you just building on the other side of the brand?
I got so much bodies of music. I was working on Close Friend and Enemies for a year, but what happened was, like I said, this pandemic. So I had put out Quarantine Vibes, but what I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna just put out the audio. I want the videos, because I knew these starting off the year with this way will make everything smoother for me along the way. Yes, I'm not going to just stay in New York. I'm going to other states. You know what I mean? I'm going to hit up not just the states everybody go to party. I'm going to hit states in small markets. I'm going to go to NC, SC, certain parts of Orlando. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people do the norm. They go to ATL, Miami, Cali, and then they come back asking for $10,000 per verse. Like, what the fuck you did? Like, I can do that too. But when you do it in a tasteful manner, where you touching all aspects of the industry, like if 5 artists is popping in that town, I want to reach out to at least 1 or 2 of them, and I'm gonna start finding out who was those people, whether they DJs, artists, actors, they in the fashion. I don't care what you're doing. Maybe that's a window for me to get in, because that's how you win in this industry. Strength is in numbers, and that's all people respect is numbers.
Yep.
So, and that's why I try to keep.
Definitely smart. You move strategic. I give you that much. Word. It seemed like everything you do is well thought out, well planned. Like, you're not just moving out here like a lot of these other artists I talk to. You know what I mean?
And I watch them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't want to attend a lot of these COVID parties. You know what I'm saying? I would love to be in them. But I know for a fact, I was like, what am I going to do there? The things I want to do is not in here. You know what I'm saying? I want to get money for the shit. I know certain people are getting paid, but a lot of people use this COVID shit to make people come out for free too. But who they want to pay. We're not going to do that with Chamberz, because I understand my value, and I understand how, people with value get treated. You know what I mean? It's sad to say, you got to move like that, because the minute, a favor could just turn, you could turn regular off of a favor. You come out to do something for a friend, and he's running around, man, I make that nigga come out for nothing. And there's people that talk like that.
Yeah.
So if it's business they know you for, it's business they're going to respect you for. They're like, nah, that nigga ain't coming unless, something got to happen. And you know what? I'm fine with that. Because that a lot of stuff what people do.
Cuts out a lot of bullshit.
I don't have no bags under my eye. I get to sleep at night. I'm relaxed. You know, saying this is my crib. I'm in a good space because I allowed myself to be in a good space. It was a time where it was dark because I never understood why everybody was moving and acting the way they was acting. You know, whether it was underground or mainstream, all these labels. It's to the point now I know I'm not looking for no deal. I have to come with the empire. You're gonna sign the empire. You're not signing me by myself. We're gonna find an investor and we're gonna do things that keep making money genuinely daily. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people are lost out here. And there's a lot of people that sign that are really broke and they don't have nothing. You know, and you know, y'all praise them because they get, not you per se, but a lot of people praise them because they clean. They have the appearance. But you know, when it's time to go somewhere, yo, can you give me a ride? Not saying not having a car is a bad thing, but you know, some people act above their pay rate, and that come out when you realize
that's bad.
You start to realize they you know, their plan is really not a plan. You know what I'm saying? It's just a survival tactic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of this shit is smoke and mirrors. I say that all the time.
You see this? The WM's on the cup.
I see a lot.
I'm not even playing, man. You know what I'm saying? The WM's on the cup. What the problem is too, a lot of people, when you do believe in people, they take advantage of that. So like that's why people take so many years to stand out in this culture. Because soon, I don't care if it's the videographer. You could lock in with a video.
Not to cut you off, right? I got a story I could tell you about a situation like that. The studio I'm sitting in right now, I built for an artist I was working with that I believed in.
Wow.
I don't rap. Feel me?
You play ball, right?
I played ball, yeah.
I heard you was nice.
I was.
Still, you don't shoot around no more?
I shoot around, but I work more with the kids now. I'm on the coaching side of things now. So I don't really play too much no more, but I stay like just in good enough shape to where I can still bust one of these little niggas' ass if they get doing that. You know what I mean? But I used to be good though.
Do stuff that come with the trade.
I used to be good, man. I ain't gonna lie.
You. I mean, I'm not cross interviewing you, but you know, basketball is an industry too. Are you teaching them the classic fundamentals, or are you teaching them the new ways of basketball?
I believe that there's things from when I came up that still apply to today's game. But I also believe that there's a lot of stuff that we did back then that these kids took and evolved. And you got to be able to connect with that too if you're going to be a good coach today.
Right.
I don't believe that a lot of the coaches that coached when we were coming up could coach today because they're not willing to make that transition to the times.
I know when I was playing ball with Flames, even, you know, the underground tournaments, the minute you shot a jump shot, you were sitting on the bench. Like, I was taught to go to the paint. You know what I'm saying? Everybody goes to the paint.
You from Brooklyn.
Right.
All of y'all was taught that.
You know what I'm saying? The minute you take a jump shot.
I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Every nigga I knew from Brooklyn, when I was coming up, whether that was high school, AAU circuit, college ball, they was going to the cup, bro.
Yeah.
95% of them niggas couldn't shoot at all because that's not what they did.
Maybe you was a good field goal shooter, you become a 2-3 immediately. Like, you're not going to point, you be 1 or 3. Like, you bouncing between that. And like with me, I got taller later on in life. So the minute I even thought about the shot, you knew the coach was going to sit you down. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm watching these kids fire from half court, fire from everything.
Now it's like you got to live with it. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, the game is so different now. It's like you got to live with the results. These kids are not. It don't matter how many times you tell them, "Hey man, throw the ball inside." Throw the ball. You're not trying to hear that shit.
Not to mention, you know, the Nets beat the Knicks yesterday. You know?
And then you turn on the TV, and everybody's shooting threes. Nobody's throwing that bitch in the post no more.
Everybody's doing the jelly.
Yeah, these kids, they don't want to hear that 1992 basketball shit.
Post up.
Slow down. Throw it in the post. Fuck you, coach. I'm going to play for somebody else. That's how these kids are.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the same thing with the music.
With the music.
That's the same.
You want to keep making that boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap. Man, fuck you, man. I'm going to go listen to 5 of you on them niggas, man. Them niggas is giving me what I need.
You know, but you know what though? I don't even think it's the sound. And I told niggas,
I ain't gonna lie. The sound plays a part of it because you got guys with the boom bap sound, right? But it's modernized. That's the difference. Then you got cats that still rap the boom bap, but they try and do it like it was done in '89. That shit won't fly today.
I also say what makes drill music more interesting is because these kids is talking about current events. And they're talking about
a lot of these little niggas talking about indictments on these on these records.
That's why I use the word current events. They talk about current events, and they talk about they have no problem name dropping. Like a lot of artists, we used to, say shit that pertain to you. And
but it was subliminal. It was subliminal though.
You knew it's you, but I didn't say you. But you know it's you, and they know it's you. These kids coming on right on out with it. They, you know what I mean?
I got some young boys that do the drill rap from my side. They getting a little lit. They getting a little big and shit like that. I'll be having to tell my young boys sometimes, yo, bro, you can't say that on the record. You like, what you mean? It's just music. No. It ain't just music no more. This shit stopped being just music about 15, 20 years ago.
How do you feel that, I saw this on YouTube. I mean, I saw this, scrolling on the gram. They call all of this music slave catcher music. You heard that term?
I heard it.
Yeah, and when you listen to these guys and they break it down, it just feels like, so what is it that can we do? Because music, because if you try to sound like you trying to lift the people, you get nothing. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's the irony of things though? No matter what we do, mainstream media will find a way to make it seem like less than what it really is.
Right.
Because they know the impact that our people have on not just the culture, just the universe as a whole.
Right.
And anytime they can undermine or shortchange that to keep us in a position of doubt, you understand what I'm saying? And a lot of our shit is mental.
100%.
But if they could continue to cast that self-doubt on a weak-minded individual, they're going to do that by saying, this is slave catcher music. This is this is that, this is this. Whatever they say, because a weak-minded individual is not going to see it as, man, fuck you. This is a gateway for 400 little 17-year-old niggas to get the fuck out of Bushwick, to get the fuck out of Bed-Stuy, to get out of Webster Projects, to get out of wherever the fuck you come from. So y'all see it as whatever, but these little kids see it as a way out.
No.
And you ain't never been in his environment to judge him. You ain't never had to walk through Soundview. You ain't never had to walk through Coney Island.
Oh, no.
You ain't never been in the Star. And you ain't never been in Webster houses. You ain't never been nowhere.
You know what I'm saying?
But you talking about these kids like you had to walk in their shoes, like they making some shit up. I know some 15, 16-year-old niggas that'll do it to both of us right now, bro.
100%.
You understand what I'm saying? They're not just talking, a lot of these kids. And that's the misconception too. These kids ain't talking. They go outside and it's really wild to be a teen right now.
You know what's the sad part? Like, even if I was like not humble enough to be like, oh, ain't no little nigga doing nothing to me, that would be the call.
That would be your demise.
That would be for them to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
That would be the reason they did something to you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't.
A lot of them out here trying to prove a point.
But you know what though? One thing I do say about these young homies,
they hungry.
They respect somebody with character.
Yeah.
Look, so it's like a lot of times, a lot of our age group and older, these dudes do be clowns. I don't even fuck with them. They don't fuck with them. So why should I defend a bunch of dudes that I don't even fuck with? Some
right.
are clowns.
Right.
And it's just that the way technology is, it displays that a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
The way somebody carry themselves on the gram, the way they walk through their neighborhood, the way they going through life. Like, why should I listen to you? And you got, in today's climate, there is a lot of idol worshiping going on. That's why you see the big chains on, and the next thing you know, boom, everybody outside, like, oh, nah, you the guy to go to, because you got it. The same thing with the car. You pull up with a car. If you ain't got a car, how can I kick knowledge to you? How can you kick knowledge to a young homie, and he got like 20,000, and we calling it a purse, and he laughing because he hiding it in a fanny, but he got 30,000 in that fanny. You know what I'm saying? It's mind blowing. You know what I mean? But I also say music changed as well as the drugs did, of course, through the years. Like, everybody through the Onyx era was on beer. You know what I'm saying? It was on beer. Snoop Dogg era, gin and juice. Mobb Deep, Hennessy. weed. Meth and ref, weed, and Hennessy. And then somewhere went to scissor, and now niggas is drinking scissor. Like
Molly and
pills, and it's just how the weed changed, the drugs changed, and it enhanced these kids and slowed down a lot of other people, depending how far you're going. So you could think the drugs that just like back in the days, like in the 80s and the 70s, you listen to their music, in movies, they're talking about sniffing cocaine last night with the yayo. You're like, oh
yeah,
yeah, these niggas were sniffing coke last night.
That was what was going on at the time. The same way these kids, that's what I be telling these old heads now, not for nothing, no disrespect. Like I be like, yo, y'all old niggas is bugging because y'all niggas came up in the coke sniffing era. And all the music y'all listen to, niggas that was coked up. You laughing, but it's real shit. All the music y'all niggas was listening to was from niggas who was coked up.
And dope fiends. Diana Ross was on dope. Like
coked up heroin addicts. So these kids now, they listen to pill poppers. The niggas, right. What's the difference? That you older now and you don't sniff coke no more? Maybe when these little niggas is 45, they won't pop pills no more neither.
But you know what?
But I watched you from 15 to 40. Couldn't wait to hit a line. You was dabbing lines off.
Word. That's what they was doing before they had sex.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, for you to judge, you got to look at where you came from.
100%.
The reason I be talking that shit is because I grew up in the early 90s. That was the drug dealer music.
Right. That
was, I mean, that's when we niggas was talking about selling drugs.
That was regular. We
using
drug dealing.
There was a lot of drug dealers that came up when I was a kid coming up listening to music. So it wasn't a lot of niggas talking about doing the coke. It was niggas talking about selling the coke. So I became intrigued with that lifestyle, not the drug user lifestyle.
Yeah, like Jay-Z was a hustler, but then you gotta even think back then, like people was gravitated towards Mobb Deep. People was with the violence. Like, you know what I mean? No, Coney Island, dudes was listening to MOP, Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? Jay-Z was cool, but it came later cool, like late 90s when he came back and he was going at Nas and shit like that. Mm-hmm. You know, that's when everybody was like pro, like, but far as I remember, the G-Unit, the way G-Unit hit and Dipset hit, that's when, you're old enough to do whatever you need to do now. Now we
are. The Dipset era, in my opinion, that was legendary.
Yeah, everybody had jerseys, real.
Only thing I ain't like was the pink, man. I couldn't get with the pink. I personally can never get with the pink, bro.
You know what's crazy? Some people said the pink, like pimps and certain people that define loyalty, wore pink. Like there was a message behind it. Like somebody told me, and they was like, "Yo, people don't even know," but that's like a lot of pimps wore pink. People with money wore pink at a certain time. That's like when with Jay-Z, when they tried to get at, he was like, "Nah, this is Salmon," whatever the name he said. Like it goes back to some people really identify with colors. Some people say you wear black all the time, you're depressed. You wear red and blue, they think you blood or Crip. But some people say we wear red, you study in Shango. It depends what color.
Depends who you speak to.
Yeah, what you're doing, and so a lot of times that play a major part in it too. So this culture definitely went through many phases, and I think the Jay-Z of this era for these kids right now is Meek Mills. So he's like in their mind, you got to think about a 16, 17-year-old kid. Meek Mill's considered an OG right now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So it's like, and then when they looking at drillers and dudes who got beef. They thinking of 22 G's immediately. They thinking of Favi and JD and all the other young homies who do that, but their template comes from that. Shout out to Chicago, shout out to UK, but New York has a weird way of bringing fashion and a whole nother light to shit that already been on. So some people feel like the sound was kidnapped. Hip hop was kidnapped. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it goes both ways.
Everything was derived from something else. So for somebody to say something was kidnapped, I say it transitioned.
That's exactly what I say with this music. And that's what
it transitioned up this way. New York got a hold of it. They put their own spin on it and they making some of it.
Because you gotta remember, there's certain UK artists who are USA king. Like they hate everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because they feel hijacked and robbed, But every day, these major corporations, like guys like me and you included, like if we get too big, they coming with a check. They don't want us to come over with a check. I mean, they don't want to not give us a check. We get too big, the numbers start rolling, they cutting us a check. And one of our friends is gonna lead us to that fucking shit. Because that's how it goes. They never come to us direct.
Yeah, they always come through somebody else.
Somebody else. They be like, yo, my man said he was asking about you. Who was asking about me? And then you decide if you want to go that route. But they knew about you all the time. You know, I heard about you tons of times. Rob was always up trying. He was like, Scott LaRock. And then Scott LaRock Jr. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, okay. And you know what I'm saying? And I always see you, you have no problem standing up for artists, or you very vocal when you speak out. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I definitely, when you hit me, of course I stand too. I'm like, all right, let me see what he got going on. And I see you standing up for the kid with the serial killer. And I told Miss Hustle, I was like, yo, I know you be around, you know, I know Pap, I know Mustafa and shit like that, but this is how the economy and this game
goes. But for me, right, and this is for me, and I'm from uptown. I'm from the Bronx, so I shouldn't really give a fuck. But I grew up associating certain morals and principles with certain areas of my city.
Right.
I mean, and I just thought what Pap did was some shit a Brooklyn nigga do to a Bronx nigga. Not some shit a Brooklyn nigga do to a Brooklyn nigga. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I just wanted to know what happened to the spread love is the Brooklyn way. Because
you want to hear something?
Something years old. It's not like he's Fabio or one of the young G's we was talking about. He's a grown ass man.
100%.
From that era.
You want to hear something? Well, I didn't really figure out what was the full end of like what happened.
I could tell you.
No, but I know. But when I looked and hit Dude page, he had a whole page of serial killing.
Yeah, from 2016.
All right, but now was he still keeping it going?
Yeah.
To this day?
Yeah. Periodically here and there, he would throw something up, and one could only suspect.
No, and let me just say.
Now, listen, what makes it more interesting, right, is there's another dynamic, right?
Yeah.
These guys have mutual friends.
Well, then you know what happened.
So, okay, cool. Regardless of how it happened, bro, Son don't have a problem with the fact that Pap did it. Son have a problem with the fact that Pap know he got it from there, and he won't even give Son a shout out, which is crazy, bro.
Let me ask you a question. You know what I mean? Like I said, shout out to homie too, because I checked a few of them. You know, it's fire. It's sad that it happens to all of us. If I told you I had Bentley dreams and jail nightmares in fucking 09, would you believe me? But then when Dreams and Nightmares came out in fucking 012, everybody was doing cartwheels. I should have went crazy too. And then, you know, they can't say I wasn't in Philly because I was in Philly. Me, Math, that's when the first time we met Gilly, the first time we met AR Ab. This is the beginning of 012. Like, we was out there in Philly, and maybe the mixtape. And then I watched years later, I had Bentley Dreams and Jail Nightmares. He had Dreams and Nightmares. Does that mean Meek Mill's owe me something? I mean, you know, people take stuff.
I think
and reiterate all the time.
I think that's a different scenario, because that's not a situation where he took what you did, turned it into a challenge, post 300 motherfuckers before you even said your name. Big difference, bro. If he just makes a record off the serial shit, no harm, no foul. But when you take something Son created, you turn it into a challenge, and you want to at least get a nigga a shout out, it's kind of crazy, bro. No, at all. Not even an Instagram story shouting out nothing.
You think did the homie ever take a approach or go in his DM like talking?
He's not even that kind of guy. Like,
yeah,
I know,
but in homie defense, I did tell Miss Hustle. You know what I mean? I had the conversation because Miss Hustle fucks with Remy. They just had a dope battle out there, whatever. And I said, yo, you know, maybe Pap could do right by just getting homie on a remix or freestyle or shouting them out. I definitely agree with you, but I didn't know the whole story. And when I looked on his page, I saw that. But this industry does that.
No, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying this don't happen in the industry, right? What I'm saying is I'm big enough to call a nigga on it. That's it.
But I say I know you for. You be calling shit out.
Like, I'm big enough to call a nigga on it when I see it.
Right.
Niggas love to tell me what I'm not. I gotta take that with a grain of salt. You understand what I'm saying? Real shit. Niggas love to tell me what I'm not. Nigga, you not a serial killer. King Spills is a serial killer, nigga. He been a serial killer since 2016. Get that man his flowers. He deserve it. Get nigga from your town, from your borough, who deserve his flowers, nigga. And not for nothing, you didn't get on by yourself. I watched K Slate carry that nigga for 5 years before niggas understood who Papoose was. Let's be real if we gonna be real.
Now, I could also say this. I physically seen Papoose sell those box of DVDs.
And that's cool. I'm not taking nothing from his grind. My son Spills grind too. But Pap got help along the way.
We all get help.
Right. So when you see a fellow Brooklynite with some talent in a position to do something, and you in a position where just a mention of his name could potentially do something for him. It's cowardly, bro.
I learned this though, honestly. Sometimes you gotta, instead of seeing something and then acting out immediately, maybe reach out another way behind the scenes before taking it to the gram or doing interviews. We probably would have got him some type of
he reached out through a mutual friend they have on some real peaceful shit, asking for a shout out. Weeks went past. That's why he came on my show and said what he said.
But when we using weeks, we using one or we talking two? We talking
weeks, multiple weeks, 2-3 weeks went past before he had got any kind of. The nigga Pap didn't even hit back his mutual friend, to my knowledge. So if y'all niggas got a person that y'all both cool with, and son say, yo, if you know Pap, tell Pap, nah, me, da 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 da. And then he hits Pap and tells him that, and Pap never hits him again, but he speaks to him all the time. It's kind of strange, bro.
How much people probably heckle Pap or whatever, anybody.
And I understand all that, bro. But I'm not the only nigga that. No.
Approach probably pushed it off.
I'm not the only nigga. When I looked at the comments before I made mine, I seen a lot of niggas in there saying the same thing. You seen one of those 2,000-3,000 comments that says something about son. You seen one of them, bro. If you posting all these freestyles, bro, you seen one of the comments, gang. You can't tell me you just didn't see nothing, you didn't hear nothing, nothing happened. Enough niggas that made noise about it to where you heard about it at the very least. You could have.
They say silence is the most powerful thing, man. Because
you didn't have to do nothing public. You could have addressed son on the side. You know who he is.
Yo, this game is vicious, man. It's vicious.
I'm not saying it ain't. What I'm saying is, like I said 5 minutes ago, when I see it and I don't like it, and it involves somebody I know in particular, I'm gonna speak on it.
Right.
Niggas ain't gotta like it.
It was also brought to my attention that that particular thing was done before. No?
Before him?
Yeah. No? Maybe not on Instagram, no? Like Smoother Hustler, maybe? No?
I never seen it.
No,
I never seen it prior to. No, I'm not saying that.
Your page made it a topic, and I brought it to the barbershop.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it never happened. I'm saying I didn't see it.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I said I don't know. I'm not gonna say it never happened before because I don't know.
I want him to see this, like, yo, and the same thing. I understand what it's like to get your shit stolen or not appreciated. So I understand it, but I also know sometimes it may take weeks for somebody to do the right thing. You know what I mean? Because some people are fine with not giving somebody credit. Some people are fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. We had to wait for Kobe to be dead to hear The Last Dance to find out that Jordan and Kobe was actually cool.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't hear that until we saw The Last Dance.
Last Dance. Yep.
And they was like, yo, Jordan was teaching Kobe all these moves. Everybody wondering why Kobe doing the same exact shit as Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
But we as people always over talking. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it wasn't even him. I'm willing to say it probably wasn't even him that got Pap to just be like, man, fuck everybody. It was the fans. Once it came out there, you know how it is. Somebody
I know how that shit go, but
you look like, yo, this nigga, who this nigga? Oh, he's saying he's talking, man, fuck that nigga. And I'm not saying Pap did that, and I don't want homie to feel like that, but I know once the direct convo didn't come, even the dude who delivered the message back as a mutual friend, you don't know how Pap took it once he heard it from him. You know what I'm saying? He could have, the dude.
A lot of this shit makes sense, right? But I'm just saying, like, as a nigga who speak the way Pap speak, with all this morality and all his principles and all these things that he stands for and stands on. This is one of the things he stands on, and I haven't seen him stand on it. If I told you I stand for fighting for the kids in the Bronx and you never seen me out there doing shit for the little niggas in the Bronx, you gonna call me, Chamberz. That's man shit. Like, yo, bro, why you pump faking niggas? I can't tell you I stand on something and never do it, or be put in a position where I'm supposed to do what I say I stand on and not do it.
It's weird, man, because like I look at that shit and I know I feel for homie, because now it's like it's too far gone for it to even come back. It's just because, you know, the way this industry goes, niggas move forward. It's old news. Like Bobby Shmurda's home, like mad different shit going on. The net night, like
that shit is kind of an afterthought now, but at the time I just thought it was like it was a little crazy to me. You know what I mean?
Crazy because I went to Pat page right after that, and sometimes the presentation is everything, man. Like it just looked like Pat made the shit up. You know what I'm saying? He's at the cabinet, he's pulling shit out. It's like, oh,
and I say, and that's cool. And the presentation is cool, right? I get it. Now I'm gonna ask you a real question, man to man. If you grabbed your phone and walked to your cereal cabinet right now, do you have every box of cereal in your house?
No, I got a couple though.
That's what I'm saying. It looked like he pulled every box of cereal out the cabinet, bro. So what I'm saying is, this was something that you saw somewhere, came up with the idea for, and then did it. And the reason I say that is because if you watch Son Page, like you said you did, he only got one box on the table. He's going in individually on one box at a time.
Right.
Which I thought, in my opinion, is actually a little doper.
Yo, you know what? You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those topics, like, you know, Pap could do, right? You know what I mean? I think what we would want to see is Pap acknowledge him and possibly do some music with him. But sometimes, like I said, that's what we want, and we know what the right thing is. But sometimes doing the right thing to somebody who's already edgy, we acting like Pap is an approachable guy. Pap is not one of them approachable niggas. You know what I'm saying? His aura is solid. Like, some people probably won't even talk to me when they realize, oh, this nigga's really 6'2" and some change, like, see up 200. But that all that shit you thought about go out the window. You know what I'm saying? So the approach and him, and, you know, him trying to be at his piece, he probably looked at that like, yo, man, fuck all that shit. And some of these guys go through that shit, and it's fucked up. You know what I mean? And I hope, dude, that don't discourage him. That should make him go harder and stand out, but don't make the career about, yo, Pap stole my shit, and then 2 years later we still talking about it. You know what I'm saying? I hope he listened to that. I hope he used that as some type of selling point to be like, yo, look, my ideas are so dope that Pap took it. You know, I made a thing about it. It's out there, the people know about it, but this is what I'm working on now, and change the conversation. That has to happen, because, you know, me and you, we can sit here and say what somebody was supposed to do all day, but
ain't gonna make them do it.
We ain't gonna make them do it.
Yo, Chamberz, I appreciate your time, gang.
Word.
Appreciate you. Got to do this again soon, bro.
Word. I appreciate. Oh, it's almost up, right? The hour, right?
Yeah. Tell the people where they can find you on social media. Find your music. Find them videos. Find the new records. Find the merchandise. I see you merched out.
Oh yeah.
Tell them where they can find these things.
Yeah. You know, I tucked the chain in to show this Rap with a Legend. You can hit the link in my bio, D Chamberz. Spell my name with a Z, not with an S, because they sleeping on me. You can find me on all streaming platforms. I would rather you go to iTunes, but, you know, I'm on all streaming platforms. You can look me up on YouTube, The Real D Chamberz. Spell my name with a Z at the end. And, you know, hit me up on the gram, tap in with all my pages, WM Apparel, No Time for the Small Talk. Artists, if you got music and you need a platform, you trying to get your, you know, the first stages, I can help you out with that. No Time for the Small Talk. I also do consulting outside of rapping, Warrior Mentality Music Group. I can get you anything from photography to on the radio. Yes, I said it, on the radio. And that's why I stay relevant, because I do a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't want to do and don't see. And, you know, I just want people to stay in tune with me, support the real, support guys like Scott LaRock. You know what I'm saying? We just had a conversation about people that shit ain't got nothing to do with us.
Ain't got nothing to do with us.
but real people gonna speak on it. I
Yeah,
would
like I told you before we came up here, this shit is more about me and you having a conversation than it is about me sitting here asking you a whole bunch of fucking questions.
Before you get out of here, I know we got 6 minutes left, or mine, I see 6. That I saw Tim Vocal talking about CJ. You know what I'm saying? You can't blame CJ. You know what I mean? You know the homies jacking the jet. We jacking the jet. We flying that shit high. You can't knock CJ. CJ was supposed to do better lyrically, but you can't beat the machine. You could not beat the machine, and the people could talk, and you could vote the music out, or some people actually like the music. But one thing I want you to say, no matter how much we gotta do, you gotta realize hip hop police is involved. You don't know who running this page. Y'all go on this page and y'all hitting them. You don't even know who's running this page. I never seen this kid post no workout videos, nothing in his stories. Like, you never know who you talking to. So, and also be mindful that if you're doing music, don't go on his page. This is my advice to people that know homie not doing the right thing with the Whoopty record. It's not his. We know that. It's always publicized. We know that. What I want people to be aware of, that feds is watching, hip hop police watching, and you easily could implicate yourself going at him when he's just a kid that's being puppeted by his uncles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll leave that there. You know what I mean? The kid got talent and he do what he do, but you don't shout him out. Shout out James Cruz. Shout out the people, the playlist that spun his shit all this time to make the people want to like it. You know what I mean? It's an art to that strategy. It ain't just him screaming whoopty and it was a hot song. The strategy behind it was better. So what that should teach everybody is, if you believe in something, family should be included too. And if you have family in the industry, make them aware of it. Find investors. Follow the platform. Because heckling people will just get you pushed out the industry. And this is what I meant by, the approach. You know what I mean? That kid CJ nigga spoke to him. I spoke to him. I know that. I spoke to him. Not, my friends with him, I don't know him like that to be a friend. But I knew what was coming before it happened. You know what I'm saying? Not the song, but when the song came out, he spoke to people and he still chose to ignore the topic. Because why? Because it's not really his decision. It's the people behind it.
Yeah.
And that's why I want
pulling the strings, playing puppet master on these young kids.
That's all I got to say. Me as a grown man, you know what I mean? I tell all the Jets and everybody that's flying high, you know what I'm saying? Continue to put up. Yo.
Yeah, we here.
You hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the people that's flying high, man, I just want y'all to know, man, just continue pushing the music, push for the young homies to do better. Stop trying to inflict violence first. You know what I mean? Think. Use this. Try to get some money, get some car keys, help your moms get out the hood. Make sure that's priority first before trying to attack and kill somebody else for this industry that is full of numbers and fake people. Just stay authentic, man. That's my answer to all of that.
Yo, Chamberz, I appreciate your time, family.